At FIE, we're not just
students
and faculty.
We're not only learners
and lecturers.
We are expanding minds,
Expanding futures.
We're redefining the classroom.
We are life-changing.
eye-opening. We are a community
Driven by our values.
That wants you.
you.
Yes, you.
To join.
Welcome to In the Field, a podcast from FIE, where we'll be exploring all things study abroad. I'm Dr. Heidi James Dunbar, writer in residence and faculty, and I will be your host. This is another special episode where I'll be speaking to a city insider who'll share 10 fantastic things to do for under a tenner, which means £10 in the English vernacular for those of you who are uninitiated. This time we'll be hearing from Carlos Nager Cobo, who's giving us the inside scoop from Madrid. Carlos was born and raised in Madrid. He is a translation and interpreting graduate from the Universidad Complutense de Madrid, and most recently finished his master's in community-based translation and interpreting at the Universidad de Alcalá. He worked as a language assistant in France in 2022 and 2023, and as a translator in Spain. Carlos considers himself to be a very curious person and likes to seize the opportunity life gives him. Hello, Carlos. I'm really excited to hear your insider scoops. Welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Heidi. I really appreciate you reaching out, to, like I said, someone who's been born and raised in Madrid to give you kind of like the insights and, trying to give you a little bit of a scoop of what Madrid and its nightlife and its, its activities feel like, So like I said, as a true Madrillian, but also as someone who has had to endure in a way the hardships of being a student in the big city, I think I'm well placed to give you some recommendations on what to do in Madrid if you're on a budget. Before starting, I also wanted to throw in a disclaimer. I've tried to come up with a variety of recommendations and not just make this a puck roll itinerary, which I'm sure people listen to us will have no trouble finding themselves.
Brilliant.
Starting with the first thing, the Retiro Park is without a doubt a highly recommended spot to visit. It's kind of like the Spanish version of Central Park, though despite its difference in size, Central Park being larger, it serves the same purposes. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a place where you can have a picnic with your friends, work out, read. There's also a pond where you can ride rental boats. Last time I took a group of students from learning abroad, I think it was €6 for 45 minutes, so we're still in a budget. However, if you were thinking about having a picnic, I think I would suggest buying it at the store beforehand and then eating at the park, just because the small food stands are a little bit of a tourist trap and a little bit overpriced. Then on my second choice, again within the picnic realm, there's another park a bit further down south from the center that not everyone knows about, and it's called El Parque de las Siete Tetas, which literally translates to the Seven Breasts Park. I've always assumed it had to do with the number of hills there are on the park, though I haven't personally counted them myself. Anyway, this is the perfect spot you want to go to on a clear day to see how the sun sets over Madrid skyline. You even get to see the mountains in the background. Like I said, the views are great, and people tend to congregate at the top. Sometimes they'll even bring their own guitar and play music. Not to toot my own horn, but everyone I've taken there has absolutely fallen in love with the place. So yeah, it's a must go to place. This brings me to my spot number 3, which is El Círculo de Bellas Artes. This place is located within walkable distance of the Retiro Park. So you'd be killing 2 birds with 1 stone if you decide to do both things on the same day. El Círculo de Bellas Artes, it's kind of like a multidisciplinary space where they organize receptions, theater premieres, art exhibitions, among many other cultural events, let's just say like that. And I checked prices online, and for only 5.5 euros, you can access not only to the permanent exhibit, sorry, but also go all the way up to the rooftop. The views, in my opinion, that you get at Central Madrid are spectacular and definitely worth the detour if you have kind of like just run out of things to do in the city. I remember they also have a cafeteria, which I'm sure is overpriced again. But there's no need to purchase anything as long as you have your ticket. Now, moving on, if you are looking to get a real taste of Spanish culture, and more specifically Madrid's culture, El Rastro, for me, is undoubtedly the place you want to go to. We're talking about a flea market with a history tracing back to the 15th century, located in the Madrilean neighborhood of La Latina. You can find anything under the sun for a really good price, whether it is thrifted clothes, kitchen utensils, books, art, memorabilia, you name it. Now, after you're done exploring it, I would highly suggest following the Madrilean tradition and have the usual vermú. So this social phenomenon, for those of you who might not be familiarized with it, takes after the alcohol vermouth, but actually designates having a drink past midday before having lunch, which, funny enough, it usually leads to having lunch. For me, I think it doesn't get any more Madrilean than that. So if you're going on a little thrifting adventure, I recommend going to La Gilderia for tapas and vermú once you're done. And you will find Spanish delicacies for, I say, an affordable price. So yeah, definitely on your to-do list. Now, moving on, Madrid, like any major European city, is home to important museums and art galleries. You may have heard about the most significant ones like El Prado, which, by the way, you can visit for free between 6 to 8 p.m. during the week and on Saturdays. Or El Reina Sofia, which you can also visit for free between 7 and 9. I think that would have to be during the week. I'm not entirely sure about the weekend, but I mean, you can check all that information. It'll be available on their website. So yeah. So like I said, I'm pretty sure everyone knows about those two, but I'm sure Joaquín Sorolla's museum / residence still remains a secret for a lot of people listening to this. So if that's the case, know that for only 3 euros, you can visit Joaquín Sorolla's museum, which is a museum dedicated to the works of this 19th century, very famous and very well-known Spanish painter, and that it offers kind of like an intimate glimpse into his life and art. What I like about this museum is that you not only get to see his artwork, but you also it almost feels like as if you were walking around his house because to an extent you are, because that's where he lived in Madrid for a long period of his life. And it's got a very beautiful, very lush sort of Spanish garden with like little fountains and flowers and fruit trees. So yeah, I mean, it's a great spot if you were thinking about maybe taking pictures of Madrid. Yeah. Now, the next place that I wanted to talk to you about combines 2 in 1 for me. So on one hand, you have El Mercado de San Miguel, which is a historic market located at the core of Madrid city center, between the main street, so Calle Mayor, and Plaza Mayor, which is the main square. While the entry is free, you can sample tapas and local delicacies for under 10 euros. However, since it has become kind of like the place to go for a lot of tourists, if you stumble upon something that exceeds your budget, do not worry, because I have just the solution. There is a chain of Mexican tacos around Central Madrid called Tiki Tako, where each taco costs only 1 euro. I mean, sure, it's not Spain's cuisine that you'll be tasting, but I can assure you they're objectively good. And like, I always go with my friends there. And I think for me, it's the perfect option before like a night out or hanging out around the center of Madrid. Now, for my seventh spot, I chose the Royal Palace and its surroundings, just because it is one of my favorite places to walk around in Madrid and a must-visit landmark to kind of like understand the city. Although it's supposed to be the official residence of the Spanish royal family, because like as you guys know, Spain's still a parliamentary monarchy. It is now primarily used for state ceremonies. It was built in the 18th century, and it's the largest palace in Europe with over 3,000 rooms. So pretty big palace. Going in is quite expensive. I checked. I think it's about 37 euros. So instead, I was just walking around the gardens and taking in all the beauty. And to top it off, I would go sit down in the Montaditos in Calle Arenal to grab a drink and sandwich. Now, I might need to explain the concept of the Montaditos before we continue. So for those of you who may not know about this, the Montaditos is a popular Spanish chain of restaurants known for its menu of Montaditos, which are small sandwiches that are typically served in like mini rolls. They're famous for offering a variety of these bite-sized sandwiches, and they have different fillings. So, ranging from traditional Spanish ingredients like jamón ibérico and chorizo to more innovative combinations. Mind you, their menu is very cheap, especially on Wednesdays, where almost all their montaditos are €1. So you might wanna check into that. My eighth choice is a bit something out of the ordinary, and it is dedicated to all animal lovers, but especially cat lovers. The place is called La Gatoteca, and as you can imagine, this is a cat cafe located in the multicultural neighborhood of Lavapiés, and it's one of the first of its kind in the country. It's a space that kind of like combines a cozy cafe environment with the opportunity to spend time with cats. The concept is to create a relaxed atmosphere where people can enjoy a drink or a snack while they interact with the resident cats, which, by the way, are up for adoption. So, you never know how long you'll be staying in Madrid. But don't worry, you won't be spending more than €5. I'm sure of that. Now, for my ninth place, if you are as passionate as cinema as I am, this next place will definitely trigger your curiosity. I'm talking about La Cineteca. The cinema is dedicated to documentary films and independent productions, and it's in Matadero, a former slaughterhouse from the 19th century, which has been remodeled and turned into a hub for culture, let's just say, and the arts in general. Inside, you will find screening rooms with a cozy, intimate atmosphere. And I checked prices for all of the showings that they have right now, and they're all under €5. So you might want to consider giving it a try. And then my last recommendation, because I have not talked a lot about maybe going out in Madrid, is Ocean's Bar. This is a very popular bar located in the vibrant and very sort of hipster neighborhood of Malasaña. It is one of those places where you must prepare yourself to be standing and in a crowded atmosphere. However, if you don't mind crowded spaces and talking to your neighbor, this place is for you. And what's best, you can get a liter worth of beer or calimocho, which is a drink from the Basque Country that combines Coke and red wine for €5 if you get their 2-for-1 deal. What I usually do is I pair up with someone from my friend group and we both order the same. So last but not least, I wanted to finish by recommending people to follow Madrid Secreto. So that's Madrid just as in the city, and then Secreto adding an O to secret on Instagram to keep up with the latest events taking place in the city. Like I've only named a few of the spots that you can visit, but I also encourage you to go on your little adventures and discover the city on your own. And with this last tip, my list of recommendation comes to an end. Like I said, don't hesitate to explore on your own and try to dig up that rare gem you'll be telling all your friends about when you come back. And also something that I wanted to say, I guess, before I end it, is that no matter what you do, be responsible and respectful with your actions. Tourism does not equal to wrecking and being disrespectful. And I think it's something that we lose sight as tourists or as people who are spending temporary or that are not staying forever at a place that we visit. I think it's also important to take into considerations that the places that we visit have been there long before you and will perdure long after you're gone. So be kind, be respectful always.
Thank you so much, Cos. That was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, to your last point, I
Glad you liked it.
I have no doubt that our students will be very respectful because, you know, they're more than tourists. They're sort of taking
Yeah,
part
of
in
course.
the culture
Yeah.
And learning to be
Yeah.
a member of that culture and that community. So, but that was absolutely brilliant. I have to be honest, Madrid is one of my absolute favorite cities in the world. It really is.
Of
It really
course.
is. I've
Of
been many
course.
times and I love it. But you've just told me some things that I didn't know about. I mean, so I'm really I want to go back now. You've got me all excited to return. That's brilliant.
I've lit the sparkle.
Yeah. So what's your absolute favorite place or thing, or, you know, as someone who is born and raised in Madrid, what do you absolutely love? And it doesn't have to be for under a tenner. Like, where do you go when you need to fill yourself back up with a sense of joy?
Right. That's such a good question because I feel like I have all this, like a list of like I said, those rare jams that I like to go to when I'm maybe not feeling as great. But if I had to choose, I guess walking down the Paseo del Prado, so this big avenue that goes all the way from Colón to Atocha, so like Madrid's main central train station. I love sort of just walking down that big avenue because it's very shady. It's got a lot of trees. It's got the botanical garden. So I know it's one of those places where I can just sit down and read and and relax, especially on a on a on a day that the weather's good. And I think that's definitely one of my top choices for sure.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I think for me, I always feel like if people do go to the Prado or the Reina Sofia, don't rush. It's really worth taking a day if you're interested in art and just really absorbing it. I mean, I've been moved to tears in the Prado several times. I love that space. And right, so I want to just get another tip from you, if you don't mind sharing. But you're exceptional at languages, and I wonder if you can give us a tip on how to learn a language, because I think it's really important that we do at least try our very best to immerse ourselves and try to speak in our host country's language. So do you have any tips on how best to go about that?
I guess for me, languages has always been kind of sort of like a law of relationship. It's one of those things where you can't rush or push if you're not into it. I mean, of course, it is important if you're going to move abroad, try to sort of impregnate yourself with a culture. But the you have to have this sort of like law for language and try to cultivate it every day, whether it is through music, through literature. I know for me, entertainment took a big part in that learning curve. Let's just put it like that. So try to just do a little, like it's baby steps, try to do a little every day. Don't try to get as close as you can to the culture and to the people, and don't care about if you're making mistakes. I'm sure I've made a lot of mistakes during this interview, but it's the it's the interaction that counts, and once it's done, you'll realize that you've learned so much and you've gained so much from it. So it's about taking the courage and also wanting to take that little step towards perfection and try to be better at it every day. Uh, it's a long process, but it's very enriching once you're able to get your point across in a different language. It's very gratifying for sure.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Of course.
And
Thank you.
we will have our list of all of these places to go to with links in the show notes. So please do check in there if you want to explore even further. But Carlos, thank you. You've been absolutely wonderful. This has been fantastic. Really, really valuable.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I love talking about Madrid and its culture. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get you to come back on again and we'll dig deeper.
Okay, great.
Brilliant. Thanks, Carlos. Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast and that you found that useful and interesting. Of course, if you would like to find out more about our programs in the UK, Ireland, and Spain, please do visit our website www.fie.org.uk. FIE provides life-changing study abroad experiences in the UK, Ireland, and Spain. As a non-profit educational organisation, we are passionately invested in making a difference for our students as the future global leaders of tomorrow and the field of international education as a whole. The FIE podcast is a creative and academic space for exploring everything, the people, the places and opportunities that make your experience so valuable and exciting.
FIE. We're here to help you
Unlock a wider
brighter future.